So Manchester City has won the FA Cup at the expense of Manchester United. And, as a United fan, this hurts a lot. But the reality is that Manchester City is simply a better team. It may not be the better club throughout history, but right now Manchester City is the team to beat in Europe and perhaps on this planet. So it wouldn't surprise me if they go on to win the Champions League as well. They're going against Inter Milan, which is not exactly the best team in the world either. Probably, similar to Manchester United in terms of the overall strength. So I wasn't surprised that Manchester City managed to beat us, because as long as Guardiola doesn't, try those weird tactics, or, certain players fail to perform or something like that. When everything is, going normally, I do not see Manchester United really having a realistic chance of beating City, But, at best we can hope for a, scrappy 1-0, 2-1 win, which is probably, ironically, what Manchester City has managed to do, One really spectacular goal that maybe David De Gea could have done better, and then the second goal that they scored was perhaps preventable if we had someone in, at the edge of the box to block the shot. But ultimately, I wouldn't say that Manchester City did not deserve the win. Well, certainly the penalty was a penalty. Jack Grealish did use his hand, and by the letter of the law, it had to be a penalty. But ultimately, you cannot say that Manchester City did not deserve the win. So what I really want to talk about in this video is why, the FA Cup loss might not be the worst thing in the world for Manchester United. Yes, I know that, none of us want Manchester City to win the treble, because, it would be, significant at least in terms of pride, because, Manchester United fans have always been proud of, their historical treble in 1999, and to have that overshadowed and potentially replaced by Manchester City's own treble is heartbreaking. But, that itself is quite devastating to any Manchester United fan. But I do want to point out the silver lining. The reality is that Manchester United is a team that is being rebuilt, after being run so badly over the past decade. We're seeing a glimmer of hope under Ten Hag. And certainly the rousing speech that he gave at Old Trafford a few days ago made us believe, even for a second or a minute, that we might be able to stop Man City. Or a better way to put it, to win the cup ourselves. But, we all know that we're going against a Man City team that is objectively better than ours, both in terms of the starting 11 and the overall squad depth. I'm not really planning to do an analysis of this match. I mean, this match certainly has plenty of talking points, like the, certain individual performances, or the lack thereof, and also some near misses that could have changed the course of the game, changed the result of the game. But I don't think that's what we need to talk about right now. I think we certainly need a few days, to relax, to think things through, to let the dust settle down a little bit before we go into the tactical details and stuff. What I really want to talk about is, how this FA Cup loss could galvanize the club forward. And specifically in relation to the potential ownership change. That's supposed to happen, but hasn't happened just yet, if ever. So I think we all know, people who are in front of a television have certainly seen Sir Alex sitting beside, one of the Glazers. I don't remember which Glazer that is. Not that I care. I don't think a lot of us are huge fans of the Glazers family anyway. The reality is that, we've won the cup, we've won the League Cup, which is not a great prize, but it's not a terrible thing to achieve in a season either. We're definitely looking like making progress under Ten Hag, both in terms of achievements as well as the general style of play. But the elephant in the room still remains. That is the fact that the Glazers are still in control of this football club. And as long as they are in control, I just don't see us really having that mentality to make the necessary changes. And not to mention the financial resources that new investors could bring. So, if you're upset about this FA Cup loss, and you have every right to be so as Manchester United fans, focus more on how it could affect changes around the club. Certainly, if the players and the members of staff of this club care about Manchester United as a football club, they'll be very upset about this result. They'll be very upset that we let City win the FA Cup and potentially win the treble once they, dispatch Inter Milan next week, which they probably would. We should be looking to push on for more ownership change, specifically the Glazers to be gone. And I know that reportedly 2 bids going on, one from Qatar and the other from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. It doesn't matter to me which side you support, and it doesn't really matter to the Glazers. They will do what's best for them, not necessarily for the football club. And what is best for the football club anyway, no one can say for sure until in hindsight. So, but we definitely need change, and to have the Glazers stay on beyond the summer would be kind of a nightmare for many of us. So if you're upset about this FA Cup loss, and rightly so, then we could potentially push for that ownership change in ways that winning the FA Cup probably wouldn't make us do so. It is because of this quite dejecting loss that we realize that we're once again reminded that this club has a long, long way to go before we can compete with the likes of Manchester City and, potentially Liverpool or some other, emerging clubs like Newcastle, Aston Villa, even Brighton. These clubs are going up and up and up. And under the Glazers, we know that we have been stagnating for 10 years, 20 years. So there's no reason for us to expect anything to change. Just because Ten Hag has come in doesn't mean that the club's fortunes are going to improve drastically or continue to improve drastically. It has improved drastically compared to the end of last season, when we were pretty much staring into the abyss. But now we have a glimmer of hope, and this loss could galvanize the fan base into saying no to Glazers. Imagine if we've won the FA Cup today, achieving domestic double, and then the Glazers deciding that, okay, you know what, we're staying, because things are improving and it's under us. It's under us that things are improving. So they have all the more reason to convince themselves and can potentially convince other people that they're right to stay. But now the fans' focus are back to the Glazers. They will be saying no to the Glazers and saying that, you people are the reason why this club has been failing, has been underachieving, and now losing rather convincingly to a side like Manchester City, which have ambitions drastically different from the Manchester United under the Glazers. So that's the takeaway that I have. I'm not angry. I'm not particularly upset about this loss because it wasn't unexpected. It wasn't like we were supposed to win this match anyway. We were simply inferior to the City side. And that's the fact. So if we can use this as, a point of encouragement to force out the Glazers, for instance, or, to induce more changes, more drastic, quicker changes, improvements, development to this club's, overall reforms and, ongoing improvements, then I do think it would be worth it. That's the silver lining anyway. So, yeah. Do let me know what you think about this match in general, the club's fortunes going forward. Maybe Manchester City is going to win the treble, in which case probably make another video about that. But, if you've listened up to this point, thank you for watching. And, be sure to, leave a like and potentially subscribe to this channel because I'll be doing more videos going forward. So that's all I have at the moment. I need to calm down, relax, and just enjoy the rest of the Sunday. It was a good match, and I think there's more to come from this Manchester United side. And hopefully the takeover will go through and we'll have a new era, a better era of more footballing success, beside commercial success, obviously. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again very soon.